Hello, my name is Jordan. Welcome to my organic tea farm. This is so pleasant to see you here. I'm so excited that you decided to spend some time with me today. We're doing a little bit of a background change. I am extraordinarily tired. My personal life has been personal lifing, and I am needing a break. So I am going to sit in here and talk to you a little bit about the books that I've been reading. So the last time we left off, I did a vlog about the Knight and the Moth. Maybe one day I'll actually get the name of that book right the first time I try to say it. I'm still on kind of like a book hangover about how good that book was. So if you're like, I'm not sure I should read The Knight and the Moth. First of all, requested from a local library. Don't spend your hard-earned money on a book that you may or may not like. Wait until you actually know that you're going to like that book before you buy it. Because I am running into an issue of me purchasing... Oh, can I do this without falling off the bed? Ah, yes, I can. Okay, so I bought The God of the Woods. Okay, I'll be right back. The chicken must go in the oven. And we're back. Chicken is in the oven, and we are good to go for the next few minutes. So, on a whim, I think probably back in October or November of last year, I got The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This was 100% a cover purchase. I loved the drippy pink that comes down. Gorgeous, stunning, love it. It's so fucking boring right now. It's more of a character-driven book rather than a plot-driven book. And there's a part of me that wants to DNF, but there's also the curious cat inside of me that has questions that we need to answer. And I don't know if I'll be able to put this book down until I get to the very end. You know, I said I bought this from Barnes & Noble, but I'm peeling a Target sticker off. So apparently, I'm a filthy liar. So sorry about that. I bought this from Target, 30% off. So that does make me feel better that I didn't spend $30 US on this book. I apparently only spent about 20. So that makes me feel better. Again, pink. So the premise of the story is that a teenager vanishes from her summer camp. It's like I'm reading it right now. It's very first thing. We find out that this girl named Barbara is missing from summer camp. And it's definitely giving me the summer camp vibes. It reminds me when I went to Christian camp when I was younger. The premise is still the same. Summer camp, a lot of kids messing around, doing things that they probably shouldn't. People being in charge who probably shouldn't be in charge. And rich people being assholes to each other. So I kind of do like that aspect of the book. Now that I have the cover on it, I'm so upset that the cover makes me want to read the book because the cover is stunning. I love it. But I'm also 252 pages in and slowly losing interest. I am over halfway done. This book is 476 pages. Good God, woman, don't spoil yourself. So we're over halfway done, and I'm right now I'm currently reading about Louise. And Louise has had the run of it. She's not having a fun time. She was the one that discovered Barbara was initially missing. And shit's going sideways for Louise real friggin' quick. When I tell you that there's at least maybe 10 POVs at this point from different people, it gets a little confusing. But the characters are still well fleshed out enough to know who I'm like their life situation, blah, blah, blah. They're actually turning into like actual characters, which is fine. So not only do we have multiple POVs, an excessive amount of POVs that I'm assuming will have a purpose in the overarching plot of the book, it's also a lot. And not only are there a lot of people, but it changes the timeline. So luckily, this book has a nice little timeline at the beginning of each chapter. So it's going between 1950s, 1961, winter of 1973, June of 1975, July of 1975, August of 1975, and day one. And the timeline bounces between present day, past, and so on and so forth between multiple POVs. So it gets extraordinarily confusing. I'm very happy that there's a timeline in here because this would be horrific if there wasn't. Just having the visual timeline at the beginning of each chapter is very helpful to keep the story straight. But I'm also, like I've said before, we're losing interest. So I'm trying my hardest. My bookmark is the memory fragments, and it's basically peach tea in a moody ambiance. And when I tell you that this poor bookmark has seen better days, I folded it in half at one point by accident. There's a sticker on the back from Fourth Wing that I'm pretty sure is just covering up another sticker, the price sticker. And it's wonky AF. So this bookmark still works, and it's better than a piece of tissue paper. So we're continuing on. I am going to stop yapping because it has been... I'm not even going to try to guess. I can't even see you from that far away. So, trying something different. We are in my bedroom. Hopefully, with you being that far away, you won't be able to see the dog hair that's on my blanket. If you do, keep it to yourself. Appreciate it. I'm going to shut up and we're going to get to reading. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Let me know in the comments down below. Have you read The God of the Woods by Liz Moore? If you have, what were your thoughts? Should I DNF? I can't. I don't know why. Speaking of DNFs, I, as anyone who watches any of my videos knows, I am a horrific DNFer. If I'm not feeling the vibes, we're done. So that's what happened with Lights Out. I stopped reading Lights Out at about 71%, and I have no life regrets about any of that because the plot in that book made actually no sense to me. And once the main problem had happened, I just completely lost interest. I just completely did not care. I didn't even care to find out what happened to Josh and Allie at the end. I'm assuming they boinked probably multiple times. And I just didn't care enough to continue reading it. I don't know how many people like raved about that book, but this will not be one of them. I'm a hater. Like it was so dull and it was so like over the top sexualized that like, I'm not going to yuck someone's yum. It wasn't for me. It was not for me. It didn't make me think. There was spelling and grammatical errors that I didn't appreciate, and the plot was paper thin, in my humble opinion. So take that as you will, but my main point of bringing that up is that I don't have a problem DNFing a book if I'm not feeling the vibes. So the fact that the God of the Woods is still continuing to keep my interest there. I think it's very atmospheric. I like the summer camp vibes. And I actually, and again, I'm a map girly. So the fact that this also had a map of the Van Laar Preserve, it just added a little extra something to the book for me. So I'm still very much interested to see what happened with Barbara and Bear. But I am kind of nervous because I have done the most basic of reviews, mainly just asking Google if I should continue reading this book. And apparently the end is underwhelming. So I don't know why that isn't making me stop. I guess I'm just committed at this point to see what happens. I'm also intrigued by, I think her name's Alice. She's the mother of Barbara and Bear. And when I tell you, Alice, one of my biggest beefs with Alice is that she just kind of goes along for the ride. She is very much like a trophy wife. And she was groomed, essentially, which kind of rubbed me the wrong way. When she was 17 and a half, she met her husband of 29 years old. So immediately there was a power dynamic shift, and she just she's there to look pretty and to do what her husband Peter tells her to do. And she is not well. She's extremely unwell. She's mentally just devastated from what happened with her son Bear, who went missing. And she's a not present parent. She's actually a pretty awful mother in the grand scheme of things, and to the point that she just is not interested in her daughter's life. She was so horrifically devastated by the loss of her son that she just had kind of a fix-it baby with Barbara, and then never truly healed from losing her son Bear. So in that regard, the character development in this book is well written. I will give this book that. So right now I'm on winter of 1973, which is where we find out what happened with Louise and her shitbag fiance, John Paul. So yeah, I'm officially going to actually shut up now, because when I say that I've been talking for 10 straight minutes, I'm not kidding. So without further ado, let's get on into it. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for tuning into my check-in. It is currently 6:55 in the morning, and I'm just slowly waking up. My alarm clock came too soon today. I'm pretty tired, but we're going to get through the day thanks to the help of Gimme and coffee. So I'm tuning in to show you this. This is my copy of God in the Woods, and I need to show you this corner right here. You see this corner right here where it's little denty doodles? Yeah. That's when I physically threw it last night. So I'm so frustrated with the point of view. The point of view changes. There's like 63, I swear to God, there's like 63 point of views. There's so many of them. There's a ridiculous amount of point of views. And every time something remotely interesting happens in one of the POVs, then it switches to another POV, and you have to wait like 50 pages to read what you were actually really interested in. So currently, let's just look and see how far I am. It's impossible to know what direction this book is because there's nothing on the front. So I'm on Tracy's chapter of page 346. I'm making pretty good headway. Oh my God. Pardon my yawns. Or don't. I don't care. But we're about right here. I have this much left of the book. And it's aggravating. It's frustrating. I just want to know what the heck happened to Barbara and Bear. I don't know, and I need to know. And yet, every time that we get close to knowing, the point of view changes, and then you have to wait so long to get back to the point of view to see what happens. So that's pretty frustrating. But considering I am a notorious DNFer, I'm genuinely surprised that I've hung out this long. It's mostly just burning curiosity that's keeping me turning the pages. I just want to know. And I swear to God, if Barbara's alive after all this, I'm going to be so mad. I'm going to be so mad. Like, if this is one of those situations where she ran away from summer camp because she didn't like her rich parents, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So we're now getting to the point of view of, I think, yeah, we're on Tracy. So I think I'm so tired. But yeah, so we're going to figure out what the heck's going on with Tracy and her memories of Barbara before her disappearance. And then, yeah, that's really all I got right now. This book is aggravating, but it keeps me intrigued just enough to keep turning the pages. So I'm probably going to finish it. I'm not happy about it. This book's so aggravating, but I do have to know what happens in the end. So we're going to finish it out. On the flip side. Oh. Guess who got Barbarian Alien? Went to Barnes & Noble. And they're having a buy one, get one 50% off of romance. So you can bet your bottom dollar. I got 2 of them. So I got book 2 and 3. Barbarian Alien and Alien Lover, I think, are the titles. I'm having such a fun, silly, goofy, good time. I clearly have read a lot. On page 139. I'm about halfway through, and this is so fun. Like, I picked this up and I'm reading it kind of in tandem with the God of the Woods. So I need a change of pace. So yeah. I'm gonna sit down. I've got a few minutes before I have to log into work. So we're gonna big chill and drink some coffee. So Hope you enjoy my extraordinarily messy couch. We have more blankets than couch. Beans. Come here, Bubby. Absolutely not, Mother. He's gonna get his sock. All right. Well, I'm gonna check in later. Hopefully after I finish this damn book. And mark my words, if Barbara's still alive at the end of this, I'm gonna poop a chicken. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. Love you. Bye. Hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be watching this movie. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to close out this vlog, the chaos that it is, with my final thoughts on Liz Moore's The God of the Woods. Hold it up for just another second longer. This book was so frustrating. This book had me throwing it at one point. I dented the cover a little bit, but I got so frustrated with this book that I actually yeeted it across my living room. I was so mad. So instead of just saying, oh, this was a terrible book, I'm never going to read it again, I took notes. I took notes about why I didn't like this book, so I could give a clear, concise, hopefully non-spoilers about this book, so I can deter anyone who might be interested in it to not read it. Why I didn't like The God of the Woods. First of all, this book was really, really, really long. It was 476 pages. There were far too many point of views. Point of views. So there were far too many point of views. In total, there were 8 point of views. We had Louise, who's a camp counselor. Tracy, who's a camper / Barbara's friend. We've got Alice, Barbara's mom. We've got Jacob, an escaped prisoner. We have Carl, who's accused of kidnapping Barbara's sister, Bear. Barbara's brother, Bear. Barbara's brother, Bear. Yep. And then there is Judita, who is an investigator for Barbara's missing persons case. We have Victor, who is at one point the camp director. And then finally, we have Barbara, girl gone missing. Okay, so the premise about this book is about a wealthy family called the Van Laars who own a massive compound. And on that compound, they have a summer camp. Refreshing my memory on the summer camp's name. Camp Emerson. Okay. So Camp Emerson, this book is based out of 1975. And the premise is Barbara goes missing during summer camp. And the whole book is just us trying to figure out where the heck Barbara went. Okay. We just know that one day we woke up, Barbara was missing. Investigations ensued. People start looking. The Van Laars get crazy intense, like police involvement because they're super rich. One of the big things that I noticed is about how this book really highlights how some rich people can be absolute jerks, is the most appropriate way that I can say it. They use their money and wealth and influence to cover up things. They lie. They're just terrible people in general. And this book really highlights how awful these people are, particularly from Alice's perspective. You really get to see just how nasty these little wasps are. And she's one of them. And so one of the big beefs that I had about this book was the timeline jumps. It was extraordinarily confusing, and I frequently found myself going back to the beginning of the chapter to look at the timeline of where we were at, because it was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, so on and so forth. The entire freaking book, okay? The timeline made absolutely no sense. It would have just been more concise had it started in the 1950s and then progressed to current date, but that didn't happen. I guess Liz was trying to build the anticipation. All it made me do was throw my book across the room. So the timeline goes as follows. 1950, 1961, winter 1973, June 1975, July 1975, August 1975, days 1 through 6 of Barbara's disappearance, and then September 1975. So when I tell you, I absolutely hated the timeline this entire book. The timeline just kind of ruined the whole book for me. Had it been start to finish, I probably would have enjoyed this book a significant amount more than I did, because you got a lot of backstory about Alice, about like her story's just tragic, to be honest. I felt so bad for Alice. For very specific reasons. It just felt like she was taken advantage of. I feel like she was trained to be a certain way. I had a real big problem with her being 17 and a half years old, introduced to a 29-year-old man, and then promised off to him. And so that gave me uncomfortable feelings. And I know that that's something that has happened historically in the past, blah, 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 blah. And it really was a catalyst for how Alice grew into the woman that she became. This is getting heavy. The majority of the story is spent bouncing between backstories of each character and the search progress of looking for Barbara between days 1 and 6. The most interesting characters, in my personal opinion, was Investigator Judita, Alice, and Jacob. Jacob had more backstory. Alice, her backstory was just tragic. And I really did enjoy Judita's character. I found her to be very strong and independent. She's like the first female investigator, blah, 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 blah. So she's got thick skin on her. And she does a really good job. She's really good at what she does. And I really appreciated that about her. She stands up for what she believes in. And she doesn't take shortcuts, which made me confused at the end when she made certain decisions that went against her nature as the great investigator that she was supposed to be. So that kind of ground my gears a little bit, but she led with heart near the end, I guess. I don't freaking know. I think the story would have been better without the time jumps between the past and current day. Like I said before, had it started off at 1950 and then progressed through the timeline to the current day, or September 1975, I feel like I would have enjoyed it much more. I would have been less confused. I feel like the character building would have been much more formed. I feel like I would have just enjoyed the story better. But that didn't happen. Carl's point of view seemed to have absolutely no point other than he was framed for the disappearance of Barbara's brother Bear. And I need to step back for a minute because I keep bringing up Brother Bear. So a few years before Barbara was born, her brother Bear went missing. Okay, there was this whole big thing. The Van Laars kind of like, they had like a botched search. It got delayed. Things happened. They never ended up finding the little boy. And so years and years later, we come to Barbara, who goes to summer camp for very specific reasons. And at summer camp, she just has a good time. It has the summer camp vibe. I won't lie. I had feelings of nostalgia. So I too had my own personal summer camp experiences, and it did take me back. So I will give the book that. It was the ambiance was there. So when Barbara goes missing, her parents are like, oh my God, not again. What's going on? And so this big thing is like, what the heck is happening to these kids, right? And the whole book is about Barbara's search, but it ends up being, spoilers, click away if you don't want to know, this whole book ends up wrapping up Bear's missing person case. So Barbara gone missing, then ultimately opens up a cold case that ends up getting solved through the investigation of Barbara's disappearance. Okay, hold on. I gotta go back to my notes because I'm about to go off. Victor's point of view explained his thought process behind his actions of what he did. Can't tell you what, but he did them. His thought process kind of made sense as an adult, kind of made sense. I'm not a parent, so maybe I just don't fully understand his thought process behind what the hell he did. But I just feel like the whole story would have been much more interesting had we replaced Victor's point of view with his daughter, TJ. I found her to be an extremely interesting character who didn't even get a point of view. So I feel like her point of view would have really kind of wrapped up the book a little bit more had it been kind of vague about certain things. I feel like the book would have just been more cohesive that way had Victor's point of view been switched with TJ's. I also think that, the end made me mad. The end made me mad. It felt rushed and unsatisfying. God of the Woods explanation, just like, you know how like the title of the book comes up and you're like, oh, that's why it was titled that way. It felt like an easy cop out. It felt like an easy cop out to me. I was actually so mad. I was like, that's who the God of the Woods is. That Barbara had exactly one point of view chapter, and it was the second to last chapter and explains her disappearance. Okay, got to keep with the notes here because I'm getting passionate about this. Final thoughts on this book. This book would have been better without Carl's point of view, Victor's, and Jacob's. Tracy had a lot of page time, and she was mainly there to live through, the summer camp experience, which really kind of helped build the summer camp ambiance, the feeling of camaraderie, the strict schedules that are kept, the activities that go on. So it really, Tracy's point of view was important because it brought back the child's perspective of summer camp. Don't know what's going on out there with Pokemon, but it's getting loud. She could have had less page time, in my personal opinion. There could have been a couple chapters where Tracy could have just said, eat it out. Didn't need to be there. Didn't help build the book. Especially like near the end, she had like a chapter like right near the end. And I was like, what's the point of this? What's the point of this chapter? Oh, you appreciate your mom a little bit more because she reminds you of Barbara. So glad we had that chapter, Tracy. Jacob seemed most... Ooh, that Canadian accent comes out. Jacob seemed most useful near the end of the book. So I really don't quite understand why he needed a point of view chapter. Like there were like at least like 5 or 6 chapters where it was just like building up some sort of like world building about the history behind the Van Laar's Reserve, which at the end didn't mean anything really. Like there was just no point, and Jacob really just became more interesting and more useful as the story progressed, where he didn't even have a POV chapter. So I feel like his chapters could have been gone, wouldn't have needed to be there, could have saved myself 50 pages. The end felt so rushed and explained the entire reason for the book with Barbara's point of view. So if you're like not super sure, or you just want to know what the hell happened to Barbara, just read the second to last chapter. It just sums the book up in cliff notes. Just like, boop, 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 boop. This is what happens. This is why it happened. Yada, yada, yada. That's a spoiler too. And then final thoughts. I will be unhauling this book. I felt like it was a complete waste of money. I really regret buying it. And I feel like the only thing that this book made me feel was frustration and anger. And not even because it was a good book, because the book was so lacking in structure. I think that's my biggest takeaway from it. So that's going to be going to my local Goodwill or Value Village or some other small local shop, because I will not have it waste my space on my bookshelf. I have far too many books that I actually love reading, and I will never touch that again for the rest of my life. So I'm very happy to have finished it. Thank God. I moved on. I had a little bit of a reading slump, I won't lie. I'm currently reading... Hold on. I have to go get it. All right. And we're back. So I'm currently reading Barbarian Alien. Barbarian Alien. God, can I talk today? So this is a fun, silly, goofy, good time. I really enjoy Ruby Dixon's writing. I feel like she is clear, concise, to the point, no fluffy words. Currently on page 192, about 2/3 of the way through the book, and I'm really enjoying it. Although this is right about the part where I start getting annoyed with the whole "you're my mate" thing. So I don't know how I feel about the whole "you're my fated mate" trope. I think I tolerate it. It's not my favorite trope ever. Pregnancy tropes also not super exciting for me, and I find Liz to be a little annoying. Like, I get that she's supposed to be a headstrong lady, independent warrior almost, but I do find her to be a bit annoying. So I liked Georgie better. So yeah. So I'm going to finish this probably within the next couple days, and then I'm going to move on to, I don't even know, because I think I might want to read this. It's been calling to me. Oh no! Chaos shelves. Okay. We're good. So I think I'm going to start reading I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Mad Dog. Yeah, I Tamed My Ex-Husband's Mad Dog. It's a graphic novel. It's a vibe. We love it. Back with a vengeance. Former Crown Princess Reinhardt Lynch withers away from the grief of losing her father until she suddenly finds herself 15 years in the past at his funeral. Gifted with a second chance, she doesn't hesitate to stab Prince Michael Allenketh, her betrothed and the man who sent her father away to his death. But before she can seek proper retribution, she is banished to the cold and isolated domain of Luden. Though her situation is dire, not all is lost, as she is saved by a wild boy, one she recognizes as a future war hero. And Michael's very own mad dog. Meeting this pup may be the key to Reinhardt's revenge. That is, if she can tame him. What kind of name is Reinhardt for a first name for a woman? I may have some history brushing up to do, but that's a name, and it's her name, and I might just read it just because of the names only. I've also got Yona of the Dawn. That's still up here in my little TBR corner. Oh my God, this is just never going to give me peace, is it? It's fine. So I've got Yona of the Dawn, and I think I'm going to read that too. I ended up getting this at the comic book shop. $5.99. Because who pays $10.99 per volume? I mean, I do, but not very frequently. I really am trying to buy them used right now because your girl's on a budget. We've got some financial goals. And you know what the financial goals entail? Using Libby more often and not buying books that I know I'm not going to like. I don't even know. I didn't even know. I was so stupid when I got this book. I think I just bought this book to buy the book. I bought it purely from the cover. I don't even think I read the blurb on the cover. Maybe I read the first paragraph. So that is 100% on me for not doing my due diligence and researching before I actually spent $30 on a hardback book that I absolutely hated with the fiery vengeance of 3 burning suns. So that's all I have to say about that. This vlog is going to be a little bit shorter than my other ones because life has just been lifing the last couple weeks. And today I have so much energy. I'm renewed. I slept for 12 hours straight and everything's fine now. Like, we're good. We're happy, healthy, and thriving. So, apparently the door has to stay open. So yeah, final thoughts. I would only recommend The God of the Woods to someone that I don't like. And because we're friends on this channel, I would never do that to you. So don't read that book. Barbara was alive the whole time. Barbara was alive. She and TJ planned her escape. And she ended up going with TJ to TJ's family cabin way up north in a remote island area that could only be reached by kayak, where she lived off the land until she was 18 years old, where her parents couldn't have any sort of sway over her life anymore. That was it. I saved you 476 pages of drama. You're welcome. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. If you actually stayed through the entire vlog, I would like to know. Please leave a little pine tree as in your comment section below. Let me know. Have you read a book that you regretted buying? If you did, please let me know so I don't buy it. We'll look at it for Livy. We'll go through Overdrive on the Kobo. We'll use the library, but we will not be. I'm really trying this year to make a conscious effort to only buy books that I know I'm going to like, or I've read them before through Libby and I want to have them on my shelves because I want to read them again. So that's my new goal. I'm sticking to it. We're still being mindful about our spending and we're going to be utilizing the library more. So speaking of the library, I just downloaded one of my favorite books growing up when I started reading. Pull it up super quick. It's by Janet Ivanovich. And I haven't seen Janet Ivanovich like going around the booktube circles. She's hilarious. So I'm starting off with One for the Money. And there is just a plethora. I think we got up to like 30 books in the Stephanie Plum series. But this follows a female bounty hunter. Yeah, I think she's a bounty hunter. No, she's a bonds agent. That's what she is. So when people break their bonds, when they get out of jail and they have like a bond and then they run away, she's the one who's charged in bringing those people back so they can go to court. She works for her skeezy like cousin, I think. It's been so long since I've read this book. So genuinely, I'm jazzed. Like, I'm so excited because I remember in the series, there is a woman of the night, I'll say. And her name's Lola. And I love Lola. She is such a character. She is, once again, a proud lady of the night. And she wears she's a plus size woman. And she is a big, beautiful black woman. And she has her personality. And I fucking love her. And she always wears her little mini dresses that like they're like the bodycons. But like usually they're really short and always riding up her booty and she's always wearing her heels. And so she's like trying to do like bounty hunter things and like helping Stephanie out and chaos ensues. I have guffawed. I have laughed so hard at the Stephanie Plum series. So I'm truly excited to listen to it audibly. Because I don't think I'll be able to read physically today at all. I have a mountain of laundry I need to do. I've got to get the dishes done. I got to get vacuuming done, get everything ready for the weekend because those things fell behind all this week because my husband got hurt, and we have collectively been dealing with his injury and healing it and tending to his wounds and all of that. So it's been a long couple weeks, and I am ready to rest and relax. But today's not that day. We got some shit to do. So thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like. Please leave a comment down below if you're interested in interacting with my channel. It definitely helps boost the algorithm. And if you want to see more, just let me know. Let me know about a book that you think that I should read. Or let me know about a book that you think that I should just get from the library, because it's okay, but it's like a one and done kind of thing. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.